Hey, I'm catiewahwah and you're watching The Record Review. Hey, long time no video. I will try to get better at that, I promise. I'm trying. So as you may or may not know, yesterday was Record Store Day. It's a really cool day which celebrates independent record stores across the world, and it's just all about supporting them. So a lot of them have live performances in store, they do special events. One of the most exciting and probably most publicized thing about Record Store Day is that they have these exclusive releases. A lot of them are limited edition, a lot of them are things like colored vinyl, things that have never been released before, reissues, special singles, and the only way you can get them is to go down to your local record store and actually physically buy a copy. So this is my second year going out for Record Store Day. If you want to watch the haul of what I got last year, I'll put the link to that in the description below and in the end card. This year I did things a bit differently. I did go to Rough Trade East again, but instead of waking up at like 6 AM, I woke up at 3 AM and we drove into East London. We got in the queue at like 4:40 AM, I think, and basically stood and queued in the dark and had a lot of fun standing around. It was funny actually because I probably spent about as much time in the queue yesterday as I did last year, but the only difference was that I was spending time in the queue just before the record store actually opened, whereas last year I was actually queuing while they were waiting for people to come out because the store was actually at capacity. So it was a different experience. There was definitely a lot more choice when I went in. A lot of the really highly sought after releases were still there. I also really liked the atmosphere yesterday morning. It felt like everyone there was like really into their records. There were people who had slept there overnight. There were people who'd come down from all different parts of the country just to be in London for that weekend. And it just felt like everyone was like very passionate about the music. So we'd been queuing for like 3 hours and then we were let in at 8 AM. And this year I was very prepared. I made a spreadsheet, I had an entire list, I memorized the artwork, and I knew exactly what I was looking for. So I managed to get pretty much everything that I wanted to, which is really exciting. There were a couple of things I wasn't able to get hold of, but I can talk about those a bit later on. After we finished at Rough Trade, we went to see if Flashback or Sister Ray were open yet. Sister Ray didn't actually have any of the releases that I wanted in stock that I hadn't managed to get already at Rough Trade East. We did wait around in East London and then we went to Flashback Records when that opened, mainly to get a copy of a old Derek and Clive live album for my dad because he found out that there was this Derek and Clive single out this year, and I was like, I actually saw a whole live album secondhand at Flashback Records like 2 weeks ago, so we went and got that. Then there was one record that I was still looking for, so we went back home and then we went out to Kingston to Banquet Records. At Banquet there was like, because Banquet Records is quite a small record store, it's like really a very local record store. It's really fantastic, the staff there are amazing, but there was a big queue outside even though it was like 1 PM, 2 PM. So I waited in the queue. I was looking for the Shura single, but apparently even Shura herself can't find that one. So I think that was very limited. Hopefully someone will order it in and they'll reorder it and I'll be able to get that one. But I picked up a few more things at Banquet Records, including a US import, which I was really excited, which I'll show you guys. Overall, I had a pretty good experience. I'm gonna get straight into the records and what I actually got this year, just so you're not hanging around too long. But at the end, I'll give you guys some advice from what I've learned from doing it for 2 years, if you're thinking of doing it next year, or even just picking up some releases this year. Okay, so let's get into the vinyl. The order I'm going to go in is smallest to biggest, because why not, right? So first off, I got the Cab For Cutie Tractor Rape Chain single. This is a live single and the B-side is Black Sun, which was their single from Kintsugi. Cab For Cutie are one of my favorite bands. I saw them live in London at the end of last year, and I was quite obsessed with Kintsugi when it came out. These are both Sirius XM live performances. They haven't been released on vinyl before, I don't believe, but this was more of like a, I love Death Cab, of course I'm going to buy anything they release on Record Store Day. This is also white vinyl, which is really pretty. Sorry for the reflection on this one, I wanted to keep the wrapper on it just because it's got what it is. Every year there's this thing called the mystery record, and it's in like a black sleeve like this, so you have no idea who the artists are, no idea what the song is. Last year it was Ramones and Husker Du, and this year, I don't know, I don't really want to spoil the mystery for anyone, but it's on red vinyl, Close your eyes when I do the close-up if you don't want to know who it is, but it's a good one. Like, there's some classic bands in here. The next one that I got was the Birdy 7-inch. This is Lost It All on the A side and Take You Everywhere I Go on the B side. Birdy is an artist who I kept seeing everywhere, and then you guys actually keep recommending her to me on my comments. So I was really excited to pick this up when I saw that it was part of the Record Store Day releases. It's on black vinyl, but it has got this really lovely like silver foiled bit, which is really cool. The next one I got was a very, very big single this year. I think a lot of people were looking for this. This is the Foals Rain single with Daffodils on the B-side. I haven't had a chance to listen to this yet, so I'm really excited. But I really like the Foals, and I'm really glad that I feel like this year they're getting like a lot of attention. It's on black vinyl again. It's a bit weird because this only has the cardboard sleeve. I don't know if you guys can see, which kind of worries me a bit. You know, when you just have the cardboard sleeve, and obviously there are people out there who'll be like, I want only like an archive quality inner sleeve bit, but I mean, I'm fine with a paper sleeve, it's just, it doesn't have it. It made me sad. This one I saw was going up on eBay everywhere for a lot of money, but what I would say is that when I was in Banquet, they had a lot of copies when I was there. Now I don't know for sure whether they would still have copies, but before looking on eBay, it's worth having a look at your local record store and just asking if they might still have some copies in or if they're reordering any. Next up is a bit of a weird one, but it also like matches my ring. I don't know if you guys saw this one. It's the side-by-side of Werewolves of London, and it's a picture disc. So it's Warren Zevon on one side and then Flamin Groovies on the B side. So this is another one of these side-by-side records that they do for Record Store Day where you have two different artists doing the same song. I love werewolves. I mean, I'm not like obsessive about wolves or werewolves, but I just find them really cool. I did make a whole video called Let's Talk About Werewolves if you'd like to check that out, but I think there's so much symbolism in them, and the art on this is just really cool. This was one that hadn't actually been on my list. I didn't see it anywhere. I don't know if I was just being silly, but I didn't realize that this was coming out. So when I just saw it in rough trade, I was like, I want that. That's perfect for me. The final 7-inch I got this year is the Nosferatu original soundtrack. So this has a couple of songs from Nosferatu performed by the City of Prague Philharmonic Orchestra. So on side A you have Omens of Nosferatu and The Pursuit of Nock, and on side B there's The Ship of Doom. The artwork on this is fantastic, and Nosferatu is just such a classic movie. It's like one of the origins of horror right there, and it's even got the silhouette on the back. I should mention that this is also on silver vinyl, which is just such a nice touch. This one I think was quite limited. I believe worldwide there were more copies, but in the UK there's only 750. So this is one that when I saw it I was like, yes. I'm looking forward to just cracking out some of these at Halloween as well, just to put together a little spooky playlist. So now we're moving up in size to the 10-inch record that I got. So this is Fela Kuti and it's I Go Shout Plenty. This is a 10-inch LP, and although there are only 2 tracks on it, if you're familiar with Fela Kuti and like Afrobeat in general, the songs are very, very long. The song kind of starts out instrumental and then it develops, and there's like a lot of interplay between the different musicians. I love Fela Kuti. I really, really enjoy listening to Afrobeat, especially when it's sunny, and it just puts me in such a good mood. And I know that technically there's a lot of like political messages in there, but it's also about having a good time. And so this was something that I think it was one of the first ones this year that I knew I wanted to get. Again, not sure how popular it's been, so you might still be able to pick this one up, but I would highly recommend it. I think there's a little bit less publicity about it this year than say some of the other records like the Foals, but do have a listen to it if you can, or just look up Fela Kuti if you haven't ever listened to him, because he's really good. I was really pleased that I was able to get this one. I think I was most excited that I managed to get this one. And that's saying something, because you guys will see what else I got, which is pretty cool. So now we're moving on to the 12-inch records. So we're going to start off with the singles. So the first one, of course, is the Florence and the Machine single. This is Delilah. One of the really lovely things about this release is that you have Delilah and the Delilah demo on the A-side. So you get to listen to them back to back and hear how they changed. Hearing the demo, I kind of preferred it. And I wonder if the reason that they're both on the A-side together is so that you can make up your own mind as to which one is your personal favorite. On the B-side, there's a live cover of Only Love Can Break Your Heart, which is stunning. This is also on blue vinyl. The color is like quite similar to this blue here. And last year I was lucky enough to get Florence and the Machine's single as well, which is from the same album, so it's really cool to have both of them together. And that one was also on blue vinyl, but it was a slightly lighter shade, so it's cool that they're like a gradient together. Another little touch on this I really like is the artwork, the way that they've got this cross with "Too Fast for Freedom" written on it. I think sometimes there's like songs where the title isn't necessarily the chorus or isn't the most memorable line from the song, and I definitely feel like "Too Fast for Freedom" is one of the best lines from Delilah, and it's like the one that I get stuck in my head, so I just like that there's like a little homage to that right on the front there. The next single that I got is really exciting. This is the lovely Bobby Gillespie, and this is a completely exclusive Primal Scream single release. It's not on Chaosmosis, which is their most recent album. I don't know if they're releasing this in any other format, if they're doing it digitally or not. I was reading that because Bobby Gillespie is like a big fan of vinyl, he wanted to do something special this year. So this is a 12-inch single, and the artwork is really cool. It's Bobby Gillespie doing like what I think is one of his quite classic kind of Mick Jagger inspired poses. So the single here is Mantra for a State of Mind. It's not actually written by Gillespie or by Innes, it was written by Mark Moore and Brendan Beale, but that title goes really well with Chaosmosis. And then the B-side is Gravitational Waves or Drifter's Song, which was written by Bobby Gillespie and Andrew Innes. Another thing that I wanted to point out about the packaging here, I was talking earlier about those archive quality sleeves. This is in one of those. I forget what they're called, but you know what I mean. You know these ones that are, I think it's like a wax paper, it's just slightly more protective for the record. And when I saw that, I was like, okay, these guys love their vinyl. Obviously, but you know, it's like that little extra thing that says they probably had some more involvement in it. So now we're moving on to the 12-inch EPs. I know there are so many different categories here. So this is a record from a label called Clouds Hill. The big star on this that probably most people have heard of is Peter Doherty, as he's known here, although I always knew him as Pete Doherty, so I don't know, but obviously a singer from the Libertines and a solo artist in his own right. And he's got two versions of his single, The Whole World Is Our Playground. And then on the B-side, there's James Johnston, and his songs are Dark Water and St. Martha's. So this record looks like really not like that much, you wouldn't expect that much from it, but both of these artists are signed to Clouds Hill and they both have records coming out later this year. So I feel like this is like a little bit of a teaser EP of what that label is going to be producing this year. And I'm really excited to listen to this and just get a bit of a feel for that. I haven't heard James Johnston before, so again, completely new to that. I mainly picked up because of Pete Doherty on it, but I feel like any label that puts them together on a record or any label that enjoys his music is probably going to be picking something quite similar to go with it. So continuing with the EPs, there's another one that I think a lot of people were after this year. It is the Air Casanova 17 EP, and this is really gorgeous. It's a transparent record with like a splatter pattern on it, and it's got 3 different versions of Casanova 70 on it, as well as the Professionnel. I really love that all of Air's work is getting released now. Last year, I was really looking for the soundtrack for The Virgin Suicides, which was released as a single. Not only did I manage to track that down eventually, but I also ended up getting a full box set of it. I also have Moon Safari on vinyl. I just feel like Air are a band who were quite before their time, so it's nice to see a lot of their work getting reissued and in really great formats as well for new fans to like own physical copies of it. Again, this is one that a lot of people were looking for, and when I was at Rough Trade East there were so many copies still there because it was like right at the beginning, so I was excited to pick this one up. The third 12-inch EP I got, I think, was maybe one of the most sought after records this year. This is the Madonna Like a Virgin and Other Big Hits Japanese EP that was reissued. It's got the Obi strip here as well, which just gives it that like extra authenticity feel. Even though obviously it's a reissue, I love little details like that they keep in. It's got Like a Virgin, Holiday, Lucky Star and Borderline. I have a secondhand copy of Like a Virgin, the full album, but what I love about this is that, okay, a couple of things I love about this. The first is that they've reproduced the original Japanese lyric sheet for it, and so they have it in English and in Japanese in case you wanted to practice, I guess. And then probably the most pretty thing, I guess, about this EP is that it's on pink vinyl, and it's like a really gorgeous bright pink. I believe that Japanese releases, I'm probably the person who knows the least about this, but I believe that in Japan they tended to have more coloured vinyl in the original releases of things. So I don't know if it was originally released on pink vinyl in Japan or not, but either way, like, it's really cool. It's a really, really nice item, and I do have a growing Madonna vinyl collection. Let me know if you guys ever want to see that, because there's far too much of it. Not that you can ever have too much Madonna, but there's like, it's a big wodge of my collection. So now we've finished with the EPs, let's move on to the LPs. So this next record is the US import that I got, and it is the much anticipated on my part vinyl release of the All American Rejects Move Along. This isn't their first album, but it is the album that I think most people heard of them from. I think it is one of their most famous albums. It's like got Dirty Little Secret on it and Move Along. I had to buy this when I saw it. I know that sounds terrible, that sounds so consumerist, but I had to buy it for like 13-year-old me who knew every line to every All American Rejects song ever. And one of the cool things is that inside it has all the lyrics kind of handwritten all over it. And then inside there's like one of those old style like signed pictures of all the guys in the band. And the album itself, but it's on smoked vinyl. So it's like transparent vinyl with a black coloring or grey coloring sort of smoked through, and it looks gorgeous. All American Rejects are one of those bands who were around just at the wrong time for vinyl. Like, no one was buying vinyl when this came out, and so it would have been really odd for them to release something on vinyl. I also wanted to mention that when I got this, I don't know who was like in charge of like sticking the stickers for the album over like where, because it had a thing that said like, oh, this is a limited smoke vinyl version, but someone had stuck the sticker right over Tyson Ritter's face, which sounds to me like someone had like a bit of a like grudge against him. I don't know. I was really, really excited about this one, and again, this was a US import, so most UK record stores wouldn't have had it, I don't think, but Banquet Records does get a lot of the US record store day releases in as well, and this was one of them. We're into the last two LPs that I picked up, and they're both by the same artist. She's another one of my favorites, and I actually remember having a conversation with someone on Twitter about her and like how I wished her stuff would come out on vinyl. She's another one of those artists who like got really popular at a time when people just weren't buying vinyl. So it's Regina Spektor, and this is Soviet Kitsch. It has a lot of my favorite songs on it, including Us, Poor Little Rich Boy, and Chemo Limo. I mean, her work is incredible anyway, but it's just so exciting to see particular favorite songs. I just wish that they had released Marianne Meets the Gravediggers. I think that's my favorite Regina Spektor album. What's exciting about this is that it also comes with a 7-inch record inside as well, and this is the Us radio video edit, and the B-side has Scarecrow and Fungus and December on it. And I'm not sure if those were ever released on an album, and I'm not sure if those have been released on vinyl either, but it's exciting. And the vinyl itself is red vinyl, and I feel like that goes with the whole Soviet theme, and the album artwork as well. And then it also comes with the lyric sheet. It's just really, really exciting to finally own that on vinyl and be able to listen to it on my record player and not just like stream it or something. And then kind of to go with that is the Regina Spektor Begin to Hope album. This is pretty incredible. It's a double LP with like so many of her songs. It's a special 10th anniversary edition. Inside is really cool artwork as well, but it's just like there's just so much in here. Like you can just dive into it for days and not emerge because there's so many different songs in there. And as excited as I was to get the Regina Spektor albums, I was kind of not annoyed, but like I really hope that the thing that makes them exclusive for Record Store Day is maybe like that Soviet Kitsch was on coloured vinyl, or that Begin to Hope had that extra disc, because I think these are albums that should be generally released on vinyl, and I think that anyone who wants those albums should be able to get a copy. I mean, I kind of think that about all Record Store Day exclusives. Like, as much as I understand the point of them being exclusive is to make people go out on the day, but I just wish that like everyone who actually genuinely wanted these would be able to. So hopefully some of these will be like reissued in different formats and stuff, so maybe you can buy it on like black vinyl and then you still have the album, but like you don't have the exclusive. But a lot of people don't really care about like the coloured vinyl or not. So that's everything that I got for Record Store Day. There are a couple of other things that were quite cool. Rough Trade was handing out the first edition of their new magazine, which they were giving away for free like with every purchase. And then there were a couple of like free CDs I got at Rough Trade. But yeah, it was really exciting. It was a really good experience, and I was really glad that I was able to get everything that I really wanted. Apart from the Shura single, but hopefully that'll get like reordered or something. If you went out for Record Store Day, then be sure to let me know in the comments, or if you've made a video about your haul as well, I would love to see that. Just to know, like, I'm always curious about what other people got and like what other people choose, because I feel like one of the great things, especially about this year, was that the range of releases meant that no two people were really going for the same things. I feel like my taste can be a little bit eclectic, but still I feel like this haul was like one corner of the kinds of releases that were out this year. So yeah, if you had like your selections or like what you were interested in getting, then just let me know in the comments below. I also just wanted to give a quick bit of advice from what I've learnt. If you can, it's good to go early. I know that like not everyone wants to sleep out, and I am way too in love with my bed to just camp out all night in the rain. I am so impressed by people who can manage to do that, but I can't. But I think that's definitely like, it's better to wait for 3 hours before the shop opens than to wait for 3 hours in the queue knowing that people are in there buying the things. Like, it just makes you a bit stressed, I think. Whereas it's like more like festival-y and exciting to be waiting while like everyone's waiting. But on the other hand, like, if you're not that fussed about getting a particular record and you actually just want to enjoy the record store, which I feel like is one of the down points of Record Store Day, like that element of it gets lost for anyone that goes early, then like turn up whenever, like try and go when it's not busy, I guess, and like just have a proper browse of their general catalogue. I know, because I do go to record stores and record fairs throughout the year, so I'm used to them being like very calm and just being able to spend ages just like dig through the crates all calm, look at every record, pick a few, put some back. Like, I'm so used to that kind of shopping, but on Record Store Day when it's full, it's like, I have to go into like survival mode. I think either if you want some specific record, then go early, have a plan, and just try and get it. If you don't really care about getting anything specific and you just want to go for the atmosphere and maybe pick up something cool, go at a time when it's not as busy. They have more bands actually as well when it's not as busy. Also, if you have your heart set on a specific release, try and draw up a list at least, or like have a look at the other releases out that year. Because if you go and they don't have the one thing that you were looking for and you feel like you waited for ages for nothing, you might find yourself like randomly picking up something that you don't want as much. But I always look through the list, I look at everything, and I just like make up my mind about what I like and what I don't like. So you have a few backups and alternatives so that you can still go there, still get something cool. Maybe it's not like the first thing that you really wanted, but it's something that you really thought was cool. And yeah, I would definitely recommend having a good look at the release list before the day itself. Another thing is that if you didn't manage to go out to the record store yesterday, you might still be able to go out this week and they might still have the thing that you were looking for. Or a lot of them will probably still have just generally some releases that maybe weren't as popular, or they might be reordering stock and they might get stock in later in the week. It's a good way to get to know the people who work there. You can just call them up or pop in the middle of the week and just ask. Like, it doesn't hurt. They won't hurt you. They would love you to spend your money in their shop. And if you don't live by any record store at all and you just think, I can't participate in this because it's just completely out of my reach, don't feel like that. Just maybe have a look online on Saturday or like before Saturday, because a lot of record stores are allowed to sell their things online starting next week. So I got quite a few records last year that way as well, but I think at midnight on Saturday morning a lot of them put their records up for online purchase. So if you manage to track down something that you were looking for and you'd like it, then you can just stay up at midnight and put through an order, and you'll still be able to get it. And that also means that all of the money will go to the independent record store itself. I'm a bit nerdy about this, and I like to check everything and see what's popular on eBay. I didn't actually buy anything from eBay, but I just like to see what's gone up there already. What I noticed was that a lot of records were on there for 4 or 5 times the price they were selling for, even though they were still available in record stores. So just to save yourself some money, go have a look in the actual record store itself and see if they have it for a much cheaper price than going on eBay. And that way the purchase of a record store day item will actually support the people who it's supposed to, which is awesome. And you can feel good about yourself as well. Just tell yourself, I'm supporting local record stores. I'm not spending all my money, I'm supporting people. So that's it for my haul and my little bit of advice. If you liked this video and you'd like to get more of these kinds of videos from me, then please do click subscribe. You will get a notification whenever I post a new video, and you'll be able to see all the rest of my videos about vinyl and album reviews. It's completely free as well, and I would love you if you did it. For everyone who subscribed to me already, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you guys, that you are commenting and watching my videos, and it just makes me feel like I'm not just talking to myself in my bedroom, which I am right now. How weird. Do leave a comment, let me know what you got on record store day, what you would have got, what your experience was like, or if you have any questions, either I'll answer them or potentially other people watching the video might know a bit more about those things and they might be able to answer them for you. And to answer so many questions on Twitter, yes, the honeymoon review is coming soon. I am writing it right now, it's one of those things that's my brain is taking a little while to process. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Hey, you stuck around! If you'd like to watch my video from last year's record store day, then you can click right here. And if you'd like to watch my live stream review of Gwen Stefani's latest album, then you can go ahead and click here. Did you click?